Welcome back, everybody, to episode 91
Yes.
of the Lookout Podcast.
91.
I'm, of course, Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
Yes, yes.
It's the month of May. I feel like we had a good month off.
We did.
The Titans have subsided. All the conversations around the Titans have subsided.
All right. I can say we needed it.
Yeah. A new season of various shows. We're in the spring season of anime, so there's been a bunch of new shows that's out, and some good and some not as good
Questionable.
and questionable.
We're going to talk about something soon. I know I saw a few tweets of yours that kind of blew me away. I was like, what's going on? It's okay. Not right now, because I have a similar taste, but I don't want to like love something just because it's pro-black. And we'll talk about it.
Oh, see, listen, the only time, so obviously we're Yasuke.
Yeah.
Listen, the only thing that went through my mind, this entire thing, I promise you, this is no cap, nothing like that. The only thing that went through my mind was listening to RSPN as you're talking about David Fizdale being fired.
Yeah.
And you saying,
wait, what?
He's not a good coach. He's just black.
Listen, yo, it's so funny that came back to you because I really meant that. In this series, it kind of ties in with that statement. Like, you just gotta tell the truth sometimes.
We go champion it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, not many of us.
Absolutely, I love to see a brother get paid. You know, and black voice actors, all that fun stuff. But hey, man.
Hey,
we're not gonna cap. We're not gonna cap to y'all. Like something.
Not gonna cap at all. No capping.
That's for another time. Yeah, that's for another time.
Absolutely. All right, so boom, we're here. We're back. Obviously, episode 91. Yes. We are dangerously 91. Close. We're getting close, bro. Crazy. Episode 100. It's right there. It's legitimately 9 episodes away.
Yeah, we're very close.
Do we have any idea what we're doing? No,
not really.
But we're open to suggestions. I don't know if what do you guys want to see us do? What do you guys a live show?
That'd be fun. They want us to get on camera.
What could we do? Shit. I gotta listen. Got to. So maybe that. Maybe what else could we do? I don't know. I mean, we're open to it. There's a bunch of new things.
Are you done with Wonder Egg Priority?
I'm not done with Wonder Egg Priority, but it's only because I've been watching the dub because I like the voice actors in the show. So the dub is now. So I've been watching the dub, but the dub does not get apparently released weekly. Yeah. Apparently, it gets released whenever.
Thing. Well, it's odd enough that you know where you got to watch it. So
absolutely. Well, now I have a Funimation subscription, so everything is within the palm of my fingertips at this point. So. I like the show. I like it. We'll talk about that in the near future as well. Definitely. So yeah, episode 100. Listen, in the background, tell me, is that an actual bird or is that a Pokemon?
No, these are real birds. This is not. Yeah, it is not the new Pokemon Snap. It is not. Although the game is ridiculously fun for no reason. I have no idea why I'm having such a good time with it, but I've taken like over 600 pictures so far. But yeah, no, those are real birds.
They getting it in. Okay, look at that nature. I'm not mad at it. It might be calming. It's way better than the police sirens you're probably going to hear.
Let me know.
40 seconds.
Finesse them to be quiet if need be.
Oh, word?
Yeah. They may go the whole show. I don't know.
You know what? Let's give them another 30 minutes and then see if we have to resort to any sort of other measures. Of course, the Big Eyes podcast with AD and Jamal. They're on break this month. So I feel like we're coming back. You know, we're like, all right, well, they on break. You know what? Let's move forward. Let's continue to bring this anime content. We're on a roll. We're doing amazing things. So let's continue to bring this anime content. So they'll be on break. I might want to step on some toes while they're gone. And I might want to talk a little bit of manga here and there.
Are we gonna do an episode of Big Eyes?
Ooh. I'm not
opposed.
We can cosplay a Big Eyes episode.
We could. Let's reach out to the guys and see how they feel. I don't want to get I don't want to get sniped. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we could definitely do it. I mean, I know, Jujutsu Kaisen's your jam.
Mm-hmm.
My Hero's my jam.
Yeah.
I think we both meet in the middle for what was a manga we both read at the same time. Are you caught up to Spy Family?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're caught up in the middle with Spy Family. So there's a ton of other things.
I don't know what we're gonna do. I feel like the whole brand is gonna turn into a Spy Family brand when the anime comes out.
Oh, of course. Listen, but we have to let people know for sure, absolutely, that this brand was on it first, and we introduced the world to Spy Family.
Yeah, it's that good. It's that good.
It's that good, and we've been telling people, but you know what? It is what it is. So they'll be back next month for the month of June. Let's see, Mount Silver, of course, monthly now. So we'll be back this month, as Jeff has so indicated. We will be talking about Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I have a lot of content for you guys.
You're doing a lot of heavy lifting for this.
It's very good. It's very good. Yeah.
I've done my share of heavy lifting. I have legitimately, I think the YouTuber Austin John Plays, I follow him on YouTube. So he was playing the original Pokemon Snap leading up to the release of this Pokemon Snap.
This shit is like way better than the original. And
I'm sure,
only maybe like 15% in, but it's like it's very good, bro. Like it's fun, it's addicting. You do have to do things repeatedly, but it doesn't bore you out. Like it's very good. It's very good.
Listen, if you're listen, we don't have to say this. Mount Silver podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. Meet us there.
Sometime this month. And yeah, what else did I had? Of course, I think we talked about it already. I had Yasuke and My Hero and all this other stuff that we'll maybe be touching on in the future. We'll have some friends come through, new friends, old friends, people you may have heard, people you may not have heard, in the course of the next series of episodes, while we also be figuring out what we're doing for 100. Like 100 is a big deal.
We'll figure it out.
This podcast really reaching episode 100 is it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'll probably be emotional at some point.
All right, so let's talk about the Demon Slayer movie.
Yeah,
let's get into it. Why not?
We finally can. I mean, I know you and I saw it when it had hit the East Streets.
East Streets.
It
took long to reach the East Streets
really
too.
Did.
By the way,
it really did.
It did. It wasn't. This wasn't just a it's gonna be out. This wasn't a Soul Plane. Type of thing where it hit the streets real early.
I thought
it wasn't a classic on the streets
sooner, man. But
apparently people don't record movies anymore.
I guess not.
Apparently pirating movies is no longer a thing.
I think that the pandemic definitely, it hurt a little bit too.
People probably not want to go into theaters. Want to risk their lives for some internet fame that you can't really monetize.
Mm-hmm. The version that I watched wasn't great, but I got to see it.
Yeah, we got to see it. So we weren't, to be honest with you, a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you saw it beforehand. Don't you not want to be spoiled?" Mm-hmm. We read the manga.
yeah, trust me, don't worry about it. It's too late.
There is nothing. Yeah,
everything is basically spoiled nowadays. Like
it's there.
I'm basically like season 3 or 4 of Jujutsu, like just off reading, So
listen. It got to be season 4 because that Shibuya arc is going.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Hold on.
You're fine.
Yeah, that Shibuya arc is it is long. It is long.
It is. It's a big one. It's the one for sure.
Absolutely. So boom. Let's talk about Demon Slayer, because since the last time we talked about Demon Slayer on the show in terms of like a long form fashion, it was actually early last year. It was actually around episode 50, which is crazy considering a year later.
Yeah,
we're almost at fucking 100.
That's insane to really think about.
Listen, the output. That's all we do. A lot of episodes were done in the year 2020. A lot of time we had on our hands.
Yeah, we had plenty. We did the right thing with it.
I think so as well. But it was a moderately popular show, and we thought it was good enough. We didn't even think about the popularity of the show when we decided to go over it. We thought it was just a good enough show, a contemporary enough show to cover long term on the podcast.
Yeah, most definitely. But I do know that there were moments, when we were running through it, we're like, all right, this this has that little spark, that that special push in some of those episodes where you're like, you can see that they have something extremely special. But yeah, I didn't really. I guess also, right after that is when everything got crazy in the world too. So I'm not gonna say it cooled down, but it was just a different time. So people kind of took it in on another level. I don't know, bro. Like the show, so many other things have came out since that. I'll be real with you, just straight honest. As long as this season 2 has taken, we haven't gotten it yet. I know obviously the movie kind of leads into it. I hope, by the way, when it starts, they don't like give us the movie again, like in 3 episodes. But whatever.
Whatever.
I don't know, but I'm kind of hoping we get right into it right after, and people need to watch the movie in their own time and figure it out. But I've seen so many other things since that. Not saying that Demon Slayer isn't as good as what I originally thought. It's just the anime world, manga in general, is still so good. I thought maybe, we have a new classic, a new this, but then like 3 or 4 other shows came out that are like really, really good too, like basically up there with Demon Slayer as well. So Demon Slayer just has so much success, like from a pop standpoint. We haven't seen it in a long time, and this movie is that.
Well, first of all, I feel the same way about Demon Slayer as I do about JJK, by the way. And I think they both, there's similar aspects, but I feel generally the same way about their first seasons. Rewatching this one first season, I'm about to watch JJK's first season again because it's about, the dub is about to finish on HBO Max, so I'm actually waiting for that to finish so I can rewatch it.
I love the dub.
Just as I'm going to do with Attack on Titan, now that the dub is finished, I'm going to rewatch it. But I think overall, when we last talked about it, I mean, it hadn't even had. It was moderately successful in terms of like it got an anime. It's really popular. Episode 19 kind of broke the internet, kind of entered it to a new stratosphere. But we had no idea because by the time this movie came out, October 16, 2020, it was like almost that people were fiending to go to movies in Japan.
Yeah, we were drooling.
Within less than a year, it became the highest grossing movie in Japan ever. Like ever.
No, not anime.
No, movie. All cinema.
Yeah. Real, and it did really well here the first week. I mean, that first weekend it spazzed. They went crazy.
It went up against Mortal Kombat, and I won't say damn near took it out. I mean, it was very, very close. I think for an anime in New York, let's see what it did first weekend. It said the film earned during its first week $21.1 million.
Yeah, that's pretty good for the States. I mean, all things considered, we're still in a pandemic. It was still select release in theaters. Tickets were still pretty hard to get.
Best opening for an international non-English film since Pokemon, the first movie.
Come on, man.
In America. In America. We're the Bandy Keith. In America. But yeah, it's literally just taken off. And that has, the movie in turn has, now people are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens at the end of this movie. I want to go read the manga, and manga sales have been crazy ever since. It's one of the best-selling manga of the last God knows how long. And it's just reached a new level of success. What will you kind of attribute the success of this film? Do you say it's the anime? Do you think it's the concept? Do you think, is it episode 19? Because I think that's what a lot of people attribute it to.
Yeah,
what do you believe?
It's the Lookout mostly. I think the way we covered it. No, I'm just kidding. So check this out. No, honestly, I think Demon Slayer, they conquered the visual aspect of like turning the fuck up for an anime. We didn't get a lot of that. I mean, we had moments in older things, but a lot of shows that we grew up on took days off, and we didn't notice because we were just kids. And then we grew up and we noticed how many days they took off. But this show really didn't take a lot of time off as far as really just doing really well from an animation standpoint, dialogue standpoint, and still making you like really laugh, like, having good content, making you emotional. Episode 19, obviously was that breaking point where you could tell somebody watch this episode, and if they didn't get into the show, you're going to be confused why they didn't, because it was that good. But I wouldn't say it was all 19, because you still had 18 episodes leading up to that, and like another 5 or 6 after that. So I really think that the stars aligned for it from a storytelling. The characters are just easy to adjust to and love. It's very cute. It's very emotional. They kind of hit the general mark of like a shonen, but it has such good violence and storytelling that it's just, you're drawn in naturally. It's very colorful, beautiful. With jujitsu, who I do kind of see as like that B-side, it's more
you
gritty.
loved some jujitsu, my guy.
I
You
do.
love jujitsu.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they do have, like, it's the B-side because it's gritty. It's a little bit more, I want to say, it is more serious, but it just has that
a little bit more mature.
Yeah. More mature. Yeah, it has that darkness to it. They're great in their own way, but Demon Slayer definitely, it's very easy on the eyes. And I think from a male and female perspective, you can tie into it so well. I think that was important to notice. So the success, man, they kind of just hit it spot on. I'm honestly surprised that they're as good as it's been. The merch, at least in America, hasn't necessarily sprung out like crazy. I'm surprised they didn't push the Funko Pops or anything like that yet. I'm surprised we don't have those. They have a lot of work to do still. That's why like the series is kind of scary to me as far as like how big it can be, because we only have
and at this
one
point
season.
There's still and at this point there's still so much left to actually get through.
There's still so much. How many seasons we think we're going through?
I would say about four or five.
Right? But maybe another movie. Like they have.
It depends. It really depends if they decide to continue to go the 22 episode of season route, which I would imagine, considering how well the thing how well the movie does, that'd be a no-brainer. Right. You want it to go as long as possible. You want people to watch as long as possible. You don't really want that to be interrupted. So I'm assuming that's how it's going to go. In terms of the success of the show, I think a lot of it's a tribute to the animation. Like you said, no days off. I think it's just beautifully animated. The ufotable they spaz. Absolutely. I think the emotional weight of kind of everything within the show is something that transcends, and that's why I talk a lot about episode 19, because I do think that episode, even if you didn't watch the first 18 episodes, I think you're enamored by the music, the animation, the emotional story, the violence, everything. It kind of like, it was the perfect storm that built up to this one moment. So if you saw that, which a lot of people did, and you're going to get captured and you're going to fall in love with the series. In terms of the success of this movie, I think another part of this movie, we talked about it with Pat a little bit in our group chat. Shout out to Pat, of course, co-host of Mount Silver, co-host of Triple Beam Streams, that you can listen to on RNC Radio Watch. And it's great to have his input into this because he is a movie guy. And we talked about it a little bit, and I was like, maybe a part of this is also that this movie is canon, but you don't really get with a lot of anime movies.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that matters to people too nowadays. Like we want it to make sense when we continue to watch the series when it continues. One thing I do want to say real quick is we really do have to appreciate and support and love how hard Japan goes for their culture, because without the way that they support the things that they create, I don't know. I mean, the success of this movie wouldn't be what it is, right? I mean, as the more successful it became overseas, and it obviously starts in Japan, they push their product to the fucking top, bro, and they did it so well with this one.
I think just mainly because, and of course you hear the police sirens in the background. This is part of the show.
We needed this. I was waiting for it. I couldn't really get going. Don't be alarmed. I heard it.
It's part of the show. But I think a lot of it is, and this isn't any different. So Japan will have their Demon Slayer and their anime and stuff like that. We'll have our Marvel movies and our DC movies and all the other stuff that we push as well. But I think just America's such a major market that they know, like, oh my God, if it makes it there, it could potentially make it in the United States as well, which consumes a lot just in general. but I think also, it was a risk as well doing this for a sort of movie like this, because you take a canon movie, you incorporate. So I'm gonna have my thoughts about the actual movie itself, like our general overarching thoughts, before we kind of go over it next. But I think you take a risk as well, because you have a movie where you don't really introduce kind of the characters in the conventional way. You kind of just drop them into a situation. You're not really saying like, okay, I'm building up to this. Oh, I'm
no big
doing this, we're
reveal.
doing that. Yeah, but that's
and we knew for a
because I didn't.
while what we were looking at.
I thought, because I believe they didn't really think that this movie would travel further beyond just the people who watched this anime.
Right. But
I don't think
from a cultural standpoint, it was
Mm-hmm.
massive. You can watch this movie, not have seen Demon Slayer once, and then go watch Demon Slayer and still be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads to, I'm going to do my overarching review of this movie before we get into the actual what happened in this movie, where we can talk about our favorite parts and stuff like that. This movie, but contrary to popular belief, I thought this movie was okay. Like, I didn't think it was. I wasn't. It had everything that you
blown necessarily.
No, because everything I think about it, this movie was like, wow, this is probably like 6 episodes, like just joined in.
Which is why I'm actually worried about that. What you just said. I'm hoping they don't give it to us. Hoping they feed it to us that way.
I saw this in the theater. Obviously, this was my first movie back in theaters. Mm-hmm. Last movie I saw before theaters closed was My Hero. So I don't know, anime, crazy. So it was my boy Ariel, who produced the theme for the show, by the way. So shout out to Ariel. But I saw it and I was just like, okay, we're moving, we're doing, but it didn't really have that part where I feel like the exposition of it didn't really translate to that of an actual movie. Like, it didn't where you get this kind of introduction to everybody, you establish the conflict, you go kind of you establish how you're going to do the resolution for this. I mean, this does in a sense, but it doesn't in sort of movie type of fashion. And it is even more apparent once you get to, like, I say there's like 3 acts to this movie. It gets even more apparent when you get to the 3rd act of the show, which has nothing to do with the first 2 acts in a sense. So for me, this movie didn't kind of capture me like maybe it did other people, because honestly, if I'd watched this at home, I would, and I did in the beginning. But even when I first watched it, when I watched it at home, I was like, I wish they had formatted this. I wish they had took the creative liberty, in a sense, to format this into a kind of movie similar to what they did in the anime with, like, Dragon Ball anime with, like, Resurrection F or Battle of Gods. And I'm not saying it's, I still think this movie is better than roughly those movies, maybe not Battle of Gods, but I wish they had formatted it in that sort of aspect, so I felt like I was watching a movie. Because really, I felt like I was binging on Netflix in a theater. That's how it kind of felt. What were your kind of overarching thoughts of this movie?
I mean, I agree with
your review
on a lot of points. I think, for one, I will say it's a bit long. I think it's too long.
It's super long. Honestly. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours.
I think it's long. Also, the point of it
that's
being
6
long,
episodes, by the way.
I know, right? Now, I'm telling you, bro, I don't want to. That's my other fear. It does piece together as if they created it in an episode format first, and then they just they just tied it together. They took away the intros and the the outro, and they just pieced it together. I think it is. Well, for me, I will say this: like, this is a very emotional movie. Like, they're pulling at you a good bit, and that 3rd act.
They don't pull at me until the 3rd act.
The 3rd act is, I mean, they want you to cry. Like, they're begging you to cry in that 3rd act. I wasn't blown away by the film. I do think I could have watched this on like a Toonami premiere and had the same feeling if, paying for it, watching it at home. I do kind of feel the same way. I like the movie.
I like the movie.
I do,
Because
but
it's a movie. I like it. The fact that it's. I mean, it's called a movie. It's presented as a movie, so I guess I have to
yeah,
like it as a movie. But
right. But if you want to look at how they put together, super like Broly, right?
right,
Broly
that's
feels
a
like a
film.
film. Yeah,
Hmm.
it feels like a film. I feel like if they
Stuff
wanted to
pays
make it
off towards the
episodic,
end.
right?
You
If they
know,
wanted to make it
stuff. It
episodic, it wouldn't really work. You got to watch it in full,
yeah.
And then when you look at this, if you chop off it's a 2 hour movie. Like I said, if you take 20 minutes of this 2 hour movie, each each piece, cut it, it will look like 6 episodes, 5 episodes,
Hmm.
like easily too. You can't do that with Broly. You cannot. It won't make sense to you because it looks like it was created in pieces, and
Hmm.
they stuck it together. Now that being said, it's still Demon Slayer. The fight scenes are fluid, incredible. The colors are great. The sound is amazing. The soundtrack is great. I think the story is nice, which if you've read the manga, you kind of already know what was going to happen. But to me, it didn't really ruin anything from like bringing emotions out and that type of thing. I hated the way it ended. I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah, usually movies don't end like that. To be honest,
I wasn't because, and again, because it feels
I
like you're
mean,
waiting
one
for the
movie
next
did. I
episode.
mean, I guess if you thinking like, what was not Endgame. Uh, what was the one before that? The one where everyone disappeared.
Infinity War.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go. Like
yeah.
that kind of ends with you knew there
But
was a next one
though,
coming.
yeah, that's the only difference. This ends and you're waiting for the next episode.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, it doesn't really feel like there's closure because there really isn't. It's to lead into season two, which is again, I'll get into my main worry about the film, which is are they going to give us this in an episode format when we begin season two? Because we might actually, obviously, we will talk about it if when that happens.
Right.
But when it does, we might enjoy the episodes separately a little bit
Yeah.
more than we did the
I
actual
mean,
movie.
so they've released a trailer for season 2 already, and season 2 is
Hmm.
expected before the end of 2021. I would expect a fall release. If it's going to be 22 episodes, yeah, I would just expect a fall release. They've shown, I mean, it's new footage, it's new everything. It's the next arc. If you've read the manga, it is the
Hmm.
next arc following this, which I think is called, I forgot what it's actually, the Entertainment District arc. There you go.
Yeah, but I
Um,
anticipate like even them showing the preview of what is coming for season two. I don't anticipate them showing clips of the movie, even if they're going to give it to us in that way. You know what I'm saying?
that's very
Like
true.
I really don't like. To me, that's nice. Like I'm glad that we got to see some more pillars and all that fun stuff like in the trailer and some clips. But like I know that they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, here's
Oh yeah, and
you know.
the television premiere of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movie.
exactly. I don't see that. Like they would still just, oh yeah, the first episode is like the first episode of My Hero this past season.
Hmm.
Like we didn't know what it was going to be till what, like a month before it came out, that we were kind of
Yeah,
get like
the synopsis
a
in a bit.
yeah, yeah, they didn't want to tell us right away like what we were about to get, but I can see, October coming and they're like, season one or episode one, season two, Demon Slayer. And then we
I,
realize what it is.
sidebar: I wonder if there's My Hero exhaustion. There's been not a lot of conversation about it.
Yeah, me and Jamal have had some conversations about it.
I
Yeah,
wonder if they might be exhausted with
everything.
the kid stuff. Nah, just the kid stuff. I think we're
Well,
over
no,
it. We've seen
but
them do
that's not
tests.
My Hero's fault, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be honest
Well,
with you. Here's my thing. I think My Hero lives in its own pocket and it has its own wave, and that's okay. The problem is what we all just got done watching, which is Attack on Titan, Promise Neverland, Jujutsu Kaisen season one.
mm,
I just feel like from a mindset standpoint, we're not
we're ready
quite
for a
there
much
right
more
now.
mature.
I,
Well, it's.
bro, I don't want
I
to take
feel
too
like
much away
everything
from
that.
it.
Hmm.
I don't want to take too much away from My Hero because I do feel like this season has been underwhelming, but I can't. I'm not necessarily blaming My Hero for it. I just think I'm in a
Yeah, I
different
don't think
mindset
it's.
currently.
I agree with you. I don't think that I find it underwhelming. I bet if I watch it all at once, I'll find it like, wow, this is really intriguing because it's fighting, it's battling, it's a tournament arc in a sense.
Look at the energy
But I
we've
think,
had for the past
yeah,
4 months. You know,
we've
I
been
mean,
on some big murder shit.
yeah, it's just natural for us to not be, I mean, Froppy looks awesome, and they're making her look super strong, but like,
be ready for a much more mature thing. Like,
yeah.
that's the time that we've been
if
on.
you notice, look how much, like, I feel like we're talking about the manga way more.
Of course, because
Streets are
the manga has
what's happening right now.
Yeah, it has evolved to that much more mature. I wouldn't say.
Well, you know what I mean.
Content.
It just seems a little bit more aggressive and like dark right now, and I
absolutely,
and I think that's just where we kind of are, just because of what we got done as a community watching, which is some darker stuff. So yeah, I feel you. I don't want to blame My Hero because I know this season will end great just based off the things that you've told me. But man, I don't. I mean, yeah, I think generally people would probably say it's underwhelming, but I'm enjoying it.
I agree. Okay, so how was your experience seeing this movie? Is this your first time back in movie theater since last year?
Yeah, it was. I had, well, that's a lie. I did. Me and Ash did. We did a few drive-ins. What did we see at the drive-in?
I'm not gonna say that counts, even because I can't do a drive-in.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I love drive-ins, but there's nothing better than a movie theater experience, in my opinion. So, but yeah, the first time I saw it in a hotel on my MacBook. Somebody was doing the deed. Somebody got it done.
Whoa.
Yeah, somebody got it done. It was okay. It was an okay stream. That was the first time I saw it, and I think I cried like 2 or 3 times.
I had to reset my brain because you was like hotel.
I know. I said
the deed.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
I mean that deed. But yeah, I got emotional like 3 times watching it, honestly. So when I finished it, I was like, that was great. You know how like like this first time seeing it.
I started it way too late when I watched the stream, and I was like, it is 2:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah, you should have chilled out. We probably started at like 9 or 10 or something like that, but it got me, and so because of that, I was kind of turned up for it. But the second watch was me more on a study standpoint.
Did you do sub or dub?
Sub. I have not seen the dub. I have no idea what it sounds like.
My movie experience, of course, I said I went with Ariel. We met up Sunday, watched it. We got the dub because I always make sure to be, this movie was coming out. I talked a lot about why this hasn't come out and all this other stuff that I was yelling about for the last 8 months. I was making sure. I got tickets on time. I got tickets to see the dub. I was okay with it. The dub is fantastic, by the way. The dub is
good. Yeah, I have no idea what it sounds like. I'll be buying them.
Have you ever watched the dub of the show?
Yeah. I've read the dub, but I just haven't seen the dub from a movie standpoint. So I don't know. I'm sure it's awesome. I never.
It's good. Went into the theater.
Dub's gotten better, man. I feel like they hear us. Everybody. Like series, like anime in general, like. We did come from now we're more of a community. We're all hand in hand, kind of carrying each other. But obviously for the people who are new to this, if you came up when we were in high school, when Meelz and I were in high school, you were kind of a part of a different crowd if you were into anime. And if you were watching dub, you were really part of a different crowd because, you might have got frowned upon. But I feel like it's even increased voice actors too. Like they're out here killing it, doing a great job portraying these characters, putting a lot of emotion, just a lot of energy into it. So I've enjoyed Jujutsu dub. Obviously the My Hero dub to me has always been really, really good. I can watch that shit all day. So Demon Slayer is an amazing dub.
I agree. I walked in the theaters, it was pretty empty. The only other movie it seemed like it was playing was Mortal Kombat. Walked in, like it had to be majority. I had to see probably 12 people in my entire from walking to the entrance to the theater. Got in the theater.
Comfy though. That's comfy.
Like chairs weren't comfy. Chairs weren't bad. Chairs were pretty bad. I don't like
because nobody sat in them in a year, Meelz. You know, nobody's put their imprint in there, bro.
I'm spoiled because every time I go to the movies, I go to one of those with like the chair that goes all.
I was just about to say, you don't want another movie with your ass all in. You don't even want to know a movie with your ass all in. Because the movie with your ass all in, I have recliner seats.
No, I need that. I was
laid up.
I couldn't. Nah, there wasn't this time. I don't know why. Maybe it was a social distancing rule. I don't know, but I need reclining seats.
That's just
ever since I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home in reclining seats, I was like, I don't know if I can go back.
Because you felt like you weren't far from home watching it. You was like, damn, this shit right here. I'm comfy.
So the movie starts. You know what? Let's talk about the actual movie itself, the cinematic part of this thing. We don't have to go through it kind of line by line, bar by bar.
I know, I understand that.
Right. Let's talk about our favorite parts of the movie. Let's talk about Act 1. Was there any part of it? So Act 1 is everything that I described from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
To, I would say, Act 1 kind of ends when Tanjiro realizes that he's in a dream and has to murk himself. That's what I would consider Act 1.
I feel you, because as soon as he realizes, the only way I can get out of this by murking myself, that I think that's like maybe the 20-minute mark, 30-minute, or might be
20 later. I'm looking at this now. Hold on. I mean,
I feel like
sorry.
Maybe
I'm not looking at this now.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, we don't have it yet. I feel like maybe it was a 30-40 minute mark when he realized I got to murk myself to get out of this. 35, 36
minutes. Sidebar. Employee at Sony. You think he's still with the company?
Oh God.
the person who uploaded the movie early to PS4. So first of all, shout out to everyone who discovered it on PS4 servers. You guys living in the slums.
I'm about to say, I don't even have my PS4 anymore. I wouldn't have been able to accomplish that. I mean, no disrespect.
No disrespect, but
no, that guy is big fired. He can't even work in the industry no more. He's done. I feel like once you do that once, right? Like they're gonna blackball you. That's a big company, $1 billion.
You're just like,
man.
and the dub, dog.
You just took money out of somebody's pocket, bro. They gonna get you for it, 100%,
bro. It's in perfect, pristine condition and everything.
Sony just
not that
just
I would know
the Crunchyroll deal too, man. They pissed off about this.
Not that I would know, but
interesting.
But so I think that the first act ends specifically around the 46-minute, 32-second mark. You know, I marked that down when I watched the movie. There's no other way that I would know.
We take notes.
But you know what? The I would say the parts that I really liked early, they had this very opening scene where they kind of introduce you to Rengoku, and you're like, oh, there's two demons on the train. And like these demons are completely forgettable. They might as well have been putties. They might as well have been any sort of like seaside villain, because they get murked instantly. It's more so an exhibition.
Yeah, it's just to show off Rengoku power real quick. Yeah. And I mean, I gotta say this, man. They really, his design is.
I think it's very distinct.
It's very
something that rarely happens. Like, you know who it is when you see it. There's no one who has the type of hair,
the large pupils, the split eyebrows,
tasty
the sword. It's incredible, man.
He speaks in a very interesting way too. Obviously, I
was actually really surprised by his dialogue. I think he's a really interesting, funny, but like I don't know what they were trying to. Absolutely, but he's sporadic. You know, his the way that he's strong mind and all that. Like, you can tell that he's extremely powerful, but he's a strange character. Strange.
Well, I like it because they give all the pillars / Hashiras, they give them all very distinct personalities, which makes them, you're able to connect to whichever one that you get to know. And we'll get to know a lot more of them as the series goes on, and maybe in another movie if they decide to go do that. But we see the first act of this movie, they're on the train. they eventually learn when they get their tickets punched, they go to sleep, and we find out that I was about to say the tickets punched were cursed, but that's the wrong film.
Wrong one. Curses though.
I guess I don't know. Whatever, they were cursed. But
basically,
they fall asleep, and now they're in sort of dream. And the people who are working alongside this upper moon, I think it's the upper six, it's lower one. It's lower one. Yeah. Lower one moon. Basically because I think it's the only moon left at that point in the lower series. But the lower one moon uses these spells and all this other stuff to essentially make them see their dreams and what they want from their dreams, and we get a very distinct dream. I think you see with Zenitsu, it's him and Nezuko, and Nezuko's not a demon, and he's just high off life. You see Inosuke, and he is
Inosuke is one of the best ones.
He's the leader of his own troop of like little rascals type shit. And he's like, I'm the smartest, I'm the leader, I'm the other stuff like that. Very well played in the dub, by the way. Shout out to Inosuke's dub actor. Did very, very well. You see Rengoku. Rengoku goes through a thing where he sees a dream, and his father, even in his dreams, his father hates him, or at least doesn't really respect him, or doesn't truly care for what he does. He was once a Hashira, and maybe something that happened that we haven't completely introduced to yet kind of warped his views, but he's not really providing the support for Rengoku and his other son that he would.
I'm not Japanese, obviously, but like father figures in anime are always dicks, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? I mean, Tanjiro's dad looked pretty cool, but they're always
he's dead,
just like,
so
he's dead. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we don't really know.
He's dead. He's not even in the movie.
Exactly.
Still, no father figure is apparent in the movie. He was cool. He's cool in like dreams and thoughts like that, but would be great portrayal if he was alive and assisting. But hey, and of course we get to Tanjiro's his dream where he sees his family, and it's like nothing has ever happened. And he's able to live his life regular. And you know what? Shout out to the dub actors for his family, who they're still getting a check. They're good. They're good, but you never hear them outside of the first episode.
Oh no, this is it. This is the last time we're going to hear them again, probably.
But they're in a feature film, so shout out to
you. Made it a big feature film at that.
The check has cleared, and it is here. So if you've been casted as one of the brothers who dies in season 1, or the sisters and stuff like that, God bless you.
You're in history.
Inosuke eventually wakes up. Not Inosuke, sorry. Nezuko eventually wakes up, tries to headbutt Tanjiro. Her head bleeds. I'm like, that is adorable. That is
she's adorable at all times.
Cast her. She's cool yet adorable. I'm like, wow, isn't this?
Yeah, they got one. They got one. She's a gold mine as far as like merch or anything like that.
I agree. So let's go to the second act, because clearly nothing
really crazy happens besides Tanjiro kills himself a few times.
Yeah, but they get to the second act. Everyone kind of discovers what's going on here. Tanjiro gets to the top of the train, tries to fight the upper moon. He cuts off the head of the upper moon, but the upper moon is like, actually, I'm not really the head you've been looking for.
That's not where my neck is, bruh.
I have fused my body with the entire train, so now you're fighting a moving train.
Hate that. Can I talk about this?
Talk about it.
I think it's, I don't know. The train is a demon. I don't like it. I didn't like the fact that, where's the neck? They've made a big dramatic scene trying to cut through it, which I thought was really cool. Don't get me wrong. But I just thought it was, I can't say weird. This is anime. But like, it was just like, it wasn't that creative.
It wasn't any different than I think the things that we'll see in the show, or the things that we've seen kind of in the past versions of the show. Like, we've been already introduced to the fact that even when you get to, I mean, let's talk about the Mount Naraguma arc, which was one right before this, or at least two before this, where he tries to cut the neck of the spider demon. Can't really, it's like, you know, you gotta, like, I don't know, cut it more or something along those lines. Like, we've already been introduced to these kind of gimmicks that they're doing. And the train gimmick didn't really hit for me. I agree with you. But it looks fantastic.
Right. It looked amazing. But considering, you know, that is the only way to take out a demon, I get that they have to, you know, make it more difficult than it should be every time it has to happen, you know. So yeah,
it's massive though.
It is huge. It's weird, and he, you know, it keeps being covered, and but it's a really pretty scene when Inosuke comes down, slices it up to open it up for Tanjiro.
Ooh, comes falling out the sky.
Yeah, the fire. Oh, it was really hard. Yeah, it's a really pretty, like, I mean, it's a pretty film. I think we already knew that before we, you know, nobody was going to watch this and think it wasn't going to look great.
Yeah, yeah. It just does. Tanjiro gets stabbed by the conductor. Didn't see that coming.
Bitch.
I know, right?
It was like,
I think he really wanted, like, even in the next scene, Inosuke is like, he got his legs trapped in the train. Good for him.
Let him die. It doesn't matter.
And Tanjiro's like, we have to save him. You don't want that to be the last thing that he ever does that he wasn't in control of. And it was just like the most terrible thing. He's like, he at least deserves to live. And Inosuke like, you sure? Because I'm pretty sure I saw him stab you. Like,
yeah, he's like, why do you want to save this dude, bro? He just tucked you in the kidney, bro. I saw it.
Shonens, man. Shonens.
Yeah. One day. Hey, well, again, if I mention jujitsu again, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. So go ahead.
No. Go off. I mean, do whatever feels right, bro.
I'm just saying, man. Jujitsu is really changing the way shonen tells their stories, but that's really all I want.
I think when we get the Chainsaw Man one too, we're going to see a lot of different stuff as well.
Absolutely, because if we get a whole arc about touching boobs, okay, so what else do we need?
I mean, there you go. So with everything going on, I mean, the entire train is being taken over. Rengoku is trying to save people. Zenitsu and Nezuko is trying to save people. Of course, Inosuke and Tanjiro reach the neck of the train. They're being put to sleep while they're doing it, which was a nice little wrinkle to try to keep stopping them. But they had to, that they had to keep overcoming. And then Tanjiro almost slices his neck in real life, not realizing it wasn't a dream. So I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, they get to it. Beast breathing, fire breathing. It's just a combination that is, it's incredible. And it knocks the train completely off the tracks. And in a normal situation where everyone should have died a fiery death.
We know we all live, bro. It's very like, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious series, Things explode, people get out the car, people come back to life the next movie. It's, it doesn't matter. We're here. It's going to be okay.
So yeah, no one dies. Everyone is like, thankfully everyone was saved during the thing. Except for me, I was stabbed.
3.5 seconds. Yeah, one of the strongest guys there actually got hurt.
That damn the one thing that stabbed. And shout out to the Upper Moon 1 who didn't get that. Usually with all the demons who die, we get the flashback of like, they were a good kid. Well, actually, you did get the flashback. Now I think about it,
we did, bro. We did. Don't. Okay. I'm about to say, don't let that slip. Now they want us to care.
Yeah. They got the flashback. With that said, we reach Act 3. Which I think is the act that everyone remembers of the show and the act that everyone kind of relates to. And the act that's probably the most powerful. More powerful than 66% of the movie. Easily.
I would have to agree. And to be fair, the final piece of the third act is kind of meh.
Let's all right, so let's talk about this. The third act, which has nothing to do with the first two acts.
No.
Beyond the fact that
we've gotten past that.
Yeah, the exposition must continue in a sort of way. So
that's it. Yeah,
the Upper Moon 3, named Akaza.
Yeah.
Very. How do you feel about Akaza's look?
The design is awesome. I like the tats.
Okay.
The color scheme is okay.
Red hair is throwing me off.
The red hair's throwing me off. Yeah, that's why I say it's okay. But I like the tats. His attitude. He's kind of a dick.
Red eyelashes, red eyebrows, red.
Yeah. He's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
I feel like the power doesn't really match the design, but whatever. That's okay.
Yeah, nah. He seems like he's very much so. First of all, he's very well versed in close combat. Doesn't need any sort of
he's
goofy gimmicks or abilities.
Sure.
I'm not hiding my I'm not hiding my neck and my feet or something along those lines. Like, you just got to cut me in one place.
Try to get me.
So he approaches as if to say, like, a new challenger approaches you, and Rengoku's up to the challenge, and he realizes to save everyone here, he must fight him. And they have the fight of all fights. It's a fight scene that lasts about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. To me, it's the highlight of the film.
Did it seem weird now? It's been so long since we've seen this movie. I thought I had to get used to people fighting with swords again against people clearly not fighting with swords. And we've seen the choreography that happens in, of course, we see once again Jujutsu Kaisen, seen the choreograph that happens in MHA, seen the choreographing that happens even in Attack on Titan, to a sense. Everything that we've seen over the last number of months. I had to get used to it with the swords thing. It was great. It was with the powers being shown. I think they have great animation to all this sort of aspect. This fight is phenomenal. It just is. It's bar none.
It's really good.
It is the most impressive thing about the movie.
Yeah, man. They definitely caught the viewer here. If you were sleeping, which I think is good storytelling, right? The first half does have some action in it and whatnot, but this was a really special,
this was the movie. This to me sold the movie to me, because
this is episode 19. It's one of those.
If this had not been included, and I think they added it smartly. Well, not added it, because I definitely do think it's a part of the arc. But I think without this part in the movie, people go away a lot more disappointed than they came in, because they're like, "Oh, what is this? Like a DBZ movie, or like what is this? They just showing episodes in theaters now? Like, we just grabbing a quick buck here." Without this part, to truly sell the film, to truly bring an act of that is game changing. You were just introduced to this character. You see him that he's super strong. You see that he's faced so many different type of things, so many demons, you see what he's kind of went through. And now he has to face an ultimate battle, something that he didn't foresee, and he tries to fight as hard as he can, and he realizes, he goes through this thinking of his mother in terms of his mother, who is the nicer parent. Shout out to moms. It's gonna be Mother's Day next Sunday.
Usually how it goes.
But he looks up to his mom, and he just wants to do right by her, and he wants to do right and say, listen, I'm saving people who were stronger were made to save weaker people, and to be heroes and all that other stuff like that. Shonen. It's his God-given right to fulfill this responsibility, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm actually going through. Okay. All right. Boom. All right. So with that, he's empowered to cut the neck, and he's going to cut the neck, and he's very aggressive. This is the most aggressive we've seen Rengoku in the film, as opposed to the haha tasty.
He's serious. He's very serious this time,
because he's already broken a rib. I think his eye is busted.
His eye is fucked.
Everything.
Yeah, his eye is fucked.
And it becomes a true battle. And I think one of the most other things that they added to the scene was, you forget how many times, these demons can't be out in the sun, at all.
It's dark.
Yeah. You forget how many times, okay, if they are in the sun, that they die. So it adds another element to the sort of battle. People might think it's a restriction to it, but I think it's another element that kind of adds to the suspense of it, because you have now the scene, as we're going to the end of the movie, where the sun is coming up finally, and they're just we have to we have to keep him there. We have to last. Once the sun comes up, he's going to be crisp. He's going to be burnt. And you see the demon himself, he's struggling as well because he's just trying to get away now. His hand is through this man's stomach already. Like, he's like, yo, you're good as dead. And Rengoku just won't let him go.
Won't let him
at
go.
all.
Oh, this was a really brilliant piece, bro. If you're trying to tell a story and make it last and kind of form this energy that says, do you know what's about to happen? You know,
right.
Because I didn't.
Essentially, Rengoku's like, yo, you're either going to get your head cut off or the sun is going to come up. But either way, I'm not letting you go.
I'm not letting go. And if I die or not.
He's trying to run away. Eventually, Tanjiro and Inosuke are like, okay, we got to get involved somehow. And just before they get involved, he decides to like forego his hands. He's like, yo, fuck my hands. Yeah. And he's out of there. He jumps, he runs, he's got a sword in his neck.
He was in a really bad situation.
I agree. For him. Do you think he could have died at the Sans point? Like, you think it would have really been over for him?
Yeah, I don't. Tanjiro, he made the decision to go get his sword. Mm-hmm. I mean, they should have just pulled up on this nigga and put him in a full Nelson or something, bro.
I think he was trying to, but he got stabbed.
Well, and Inosuke, him and Inosuke were they were just there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just watching it. At that point, you got to step in.
Right. Well, I think they do eventually, because initially they're told not to step in for
I know.
Rengoku doesn't want.
The situation has changed. It's almost morning.
Right. So they run in and try to get involved and stuff, and that's when Akaza escapes. So once he sees the sun coming up, and Tanjiro, he throws his sword at the demon. It was like, I'm gonna get you still, but still Akaza manages to get away, and we get the sun rising, and you get this final moment between Rengoku and Tanjiro. And well, first of all, I love the little, if you see it in the dub, I really respect the voice actor for Tanjiro, because he's like, you ran, essentially is like, you're pussy, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You ran away, you coward. He's more amazing than you,
bro. Not the emotion from Tanjiro, just the fact that, like, the movie ended. This is what I want to go back to when we first started this show, and we spoke about how it feels, and it feels more episodic than a film. And in my opinion, one of the reasons for that is the main antagonist getting away and living, because there's no real.
I mean, you get the closure, I guess, of the train demon dying.
Yeah,
and this was something that you weren't truly prepared for.
I suppose. I get that, but we're also left with the emotions of what happened to Rengoku, and that happened because of this demon, and this demon gets away. So to me, I just feel kind of left short-handed, because I'm like, damn, like, I did feel Tanjiro's emotion there. I'm pissed that it happened that way. I'm pissed that he doesn't want to come and fight. Although the demon's like, bro, of course I'm running, bro.
It was the morning, baby.
This morning, bro. I gotta get out of here, So I understand that, but it was just one of those things, man, where I felt Tanjiro, you coward, get back here. Also, the sword throw was amazing.
Yeah, incredible. It's morning. Everyone's sitting there or standing there. They kind of listen to Rengoku's last words. He tells him, listen, stay strong. I'm going to be dead soon. He sees his mother off in the distance. It's like peak dead shit. When you start seeing other dead people, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's over. And if you're seeing them before that, it's a whole different show, guys.
Yeah. He's like, hold your head high, become strong, all these other things.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like we don't get that enough, man. Let him. Actually, when Rengoku was watching Tanjiro kind of break down, he was like, I feel like at that point he was content with leaving the world, because he had realized how just how much energy and how he realized how Tanjiro felt. He was just like, I'm leaving this shit in good hands.
He's like, young Kamado, young boarhead, yellow boy.
Yellow boy.
Please stay strong. I believe in you. And, you know, Tanjiro is just, he's breaking down. He's crying. I mean, people talk about Deku crying. This man is crying big old ugly ass tears.
Real cries.
He sees his mother and realizes like, hey, I've made her proud. And he dies. He dies right there. And the movie kind of ends with the crow kind of relaying the news to other Hashiras, relaying the
crow
news.
Dropped a tear, bro.
Oof. You ever seen a
crow was like, nah, bro.
Thug tear.
Not my dog.
Are we tatting a tear under our eye from Rengoku?
I would do it, bro. I would do it. You know what, man?
It's like a fiery tear. It's like a little. It's got a little like notches on top. It's like a tear, but like it might be on fire.
Might be on fire. But you know, man, I love the. I did not think that they were going to give us the visual of them showing the other pillars, what happened. Like that shit touched me, bro. That shit really touched me. I think that was just a nice little piece that they put in the film. I mean, I really, really love that. You know, I like to see, because it lets us know at least, they know. At least they know. Right. We know how they reacted to it, you know.
Well, just before this movie, you know, we talked about it at the end of the season, they're having troubles because they're like, okay, we don't have any warriors strong enough to face these upper demons. Like these demons are like washing us. And now this is the first time in the series that they lose an actual Hashira themselves. Like one is actually like gone, not coming back, has been dead. They've been slaying these lower demons, but now they've finally taken a loss on their own, and they kind of wonder how they're gonna follow up from that. You know, it's an interesting story to tell. So now I ask, so what's next? What's next? Season 2 is what's next.
Season 2. This was season 2.
Or is this season 2?
Or is it? I guess we won't know. We'll know soon.
I feel like we're gonna get the episodes in one way or another. They have got to show. It doesn't make any sense if they don't show. They would have to add this movie to the beginning of season 2 when you start binging things. Like it would have to be part of the cycle.
Yeah.
Because it would have to be an OVA. Because there's no way you can binge this series without watching this movie.
Exactly. And again, this is why I think we're going to get it tied in with season 2. Because when this is up to stream wherever it goes, right? We just piece into this story. This won't be on there.
The big dogs are trying to get this in on stream. I'm talking about Netflix, HBO Max.
Cut the check, man. Cut the check. I know it's there now. You know, the money has got to be. I would love to see what Ufotable has profited. You know, I really would, because I mean, they have one major thing out. It's this. And it is a monster.
What are the other animes? Good question.
I think they do have something else, but as far as like, you know, the monster, like this thing
No,
here
you're
is
right.
like,
they got Fate Zero.
Yeah, Fate Zero. So I mean, man, it's a special series. I think the film success shows how, you know, special it is. I'm really, really curious to see how they tie it in when we get that season 2. I don't know if they're gonna chop this bitch up like they did to us in Super and give us 6 episodes on it, but I don't know, man.
Big heavyweight with this movie. It's 2 hours long.
It's long.
It's very long,
in my opinion. Yeah.
Too long. Absolutely too long. For a regular anime thing, way too long. My review, I mean, I'd say my review is, since I think the movie is not without. The most important part of this movie is the last 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, that part makes the entire movie. Other than that, I can't really. The movie's no more than a couple episodes. And it's really a similar sort of structure to the previous kind of season that if you've seen season 1, you kind of know how this goes. Oh, they got to overcome the demon. Oh, they got to do da. There might be a little gimmick to it. You got to jimmy the gimmick, and then bada bing, bada boom. Tears, flashbacks, death.
Yeah, no, it's Demon Slayer formula. They're definitely sticking to it, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of their lane at this point, so I don't have an issue with the way that they formatted it. But I think some things it doesn't feel like a movie at times, like you said. I do enjoy it for the most part, but it may have done. Well, I don't want to say it would have done better. It obviously wouldn't have done better
it would have felt better if they formatted it as a movie. I don't know. Just use your creative license and format it as a movie.
For sure.
It doesn't have to be. We don't have to. We can do a thing where we're like, oh, when we do the anime, we'll redo it so it's like in episodic fashion, but format it as a movie. Have an up down
fashion. They just gonna cut the bitch up and
they just gonna cut it up.
Outro to it.
Little wisteria flowers is gonna pop up and you're like, oh, the episode's over. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Not mad at all.
Do they keep the same intro for season 2?
No. We're gonna get some
animes
shit.
Don't do that no more.
No, they don't do that.
That game is over, man. It's no more. I know what you.
Everybody got to get paid. There's probably like regulations, like you can't use the same opening theme.
You watched Jujutsu, right?
Of course.
When when the song changes, you saw you see what they changed the intro.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty. I love it.
We'll talk about Jujutsu soon, bro. We'll talk about Jujutsu soon.
It's tough.
We got to. Culling games coming up. Here, listen. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we can talk about.
I was obviously I was in Miami last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with Cyrus, and me and Cyrus were talking because I had met up with him before Mark got there because of course Mark was late, and and Cyrus was like, "Bro, I've been waiting for you guys to invite me. I need to come talk about this jujitsu. I need to." So he wanted me to let you know, and I was waiting. I could have told you when he told me, but
this isn't. So here's the thing. Though, we can talk about Jujutsu season 1, but technically this isn't the show. The Jujutsu real talk is on the Big Eyes podcast. The big talk is on the Big Eyes podcast,
and he knows that. I just think he's eager.
Listen, Jujutsu, it'll get us time. We're gonna go over it. Because the amount of times we mentioned it on this damn episode,
it's because Twitter has found a way to compare the two a lot for whatever reason. I mean,
it's the new hot girl.
They're two different dynamics. Yeah, it is the new hot girl. It's the new hot girl in school, 1,000%.
And Demon Slayer's been away for 2 years. Demon Slayer has been away for legitimately almost 2 years. This movie did not come out in the United States until last week. The season ended. If you watch the regular Japanese one, the season ended in 2019.
No disrespect to you, Ufotable, but Mappa would have had this shit out 8 months ago.
Come on, man. Come on. And whoever was the Studio Bones, whoever works on My Hero Academia, they probably working on season 6 right now.
You know
what I'm saying? It's like they got a team dedicated to it, so they gotta.
Maybe I feel like Ufotable's team is maybe smaller than we think.
Oh, it probably is. I look at the titles they have. They don't have
probably
the
on some
major
Game
titles.
Freak shit, yeah.
They don't have a lot of the major titles, so it probably is. But they did a bang up job.
They slaughtered this shit.
Okay, so this has been our review of the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba the movie Mugen Train. We hope you guys see it. If you have not seen it yet, I'm surprised you reached this part of the podcast because we kind of spoiled a lot. But hopefully you guys see it. We'll be talking about other movies that are coming out this year because there is a My Hero movie coming out this year. There is a Jujutsu Kaisen movie coming out.
Yes, there is. Which will probably be better than this.
Oh yeah. Do we want to look at? There's a Black Clover movie. Are we doing Black Clover?
Bro, listen, I haven't watched. I've seen maybe like 10 episodes of Black Clover in total. I'm not that interested. I know Black Clover has a really tight-knit fan base, like a fan base that like you rather love it or you hate it, and the ones that love it stand that shit, they go hard for it. But I don't really even like the character designs like that, so I don't know. I feel like it's one of those, maybe I just missed it. It might just be too late for me.
It might be. That was Naruto for me. Don't let them.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm glad I said this at the end of the podcast.
It's okay. It's okay.
You cut my head off.
I'm there. I'm there.
I haven't seen Naruto, guys. Sorry. I apologize. But I do not apologize for the Lookout and everything that we did on this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can follow the Lookout at the Lookout RNC Radio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you can find podcasts. You can also follow us on our Twitter at the Lookout RNC. And just, stay tapped in. We'll be back. We might be back next week. We're supposed to have a special guest, but due to my own personal circumstances,
they're not life-threatening. But
no, they're not.
Meelz may have to be off this week, so we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. If we don't, because we're supposed to have a special guest next week, if we don't have the special guest, I am open to just talking about whatever.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we keep randomly bringing up different titles, so
so I'm just open to talk about whatever. Yeah, so it is what it is. But until next time, listen, don't meet us there, beat us there. This is the Lookout. Peace. Take care.